Hello, my name's Christopher. Today I'm going to show you how to install Flame on BigBearCasaOS. This will be installing it on CasaOS with the custom app store that I created called BigBearCasaOS. So a little bit about this series, I'm going over home labs, or installing things, getting things set up, everything like that. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, comment, like, and support the channel, and let's get started. So now I'm going to start out on BigBearCasaOS. There will be a link down in the YouTube description to get to it. And then I'm going to go to apps, and then Flame, and then Docker Compose. And then now the name of the application will be Flame. I'm going to set a list of services, and the service underneath is called App. And then Docker image to be used for the Flame application is on Docker Hub. And then now environment variables that configure the application, I'm going to set a password for the UI. And I would recommend changing this. And then I'm going to set a restart policy, so it's unless stopped. So if you stop it for any reason, do not try to restart. But if it fails or any other reason, it will try to restart. I'm going to specify some ports so you can access the UI. So on the target, which is the container, is 5005. And then on the publish side, which is the host, is 5005. And then the protocol is TCP. And then now I'm going to specify some volumes. So I'm going to do data, app data, a variable for getting the app ID, and then data, that's on the host side, and on the target is app data, that's on the container side. You can't change the container side. Okay, now I'm going to mount the docker.sock. And then I'm going to set some CasaOS specific configuration now. So architectures, and then main. This corresponds with this right here. So main is app. And then set a description, a tagline, a developer, author, icon, thumbnail, title, and then category. And then the port map that's on the container is 5005. So I'll set it right here. So now that I've explained the Docker Compose, we can get to installing it. So now we're going to need to install the App Store on your CasaOS. So App Store URL right here, I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go down, and the custom App Store does require 0.4.4 or newer for CasaOS. And then, so once we copy this, we're going to go over to CasaOS and put this into the source and get it added. So now we're going to start out on our CasaOS now. And I'm going to go to App Store. And then I'm going to go over here to Add Source. Then a box comes up, a text box. So I'm going to paste it in. Then I'm going to press Add. It's going to add the store, so 82 apps now. So if you type in the search box Flame, there you go, it's added. So we'll get to installing it. So I'm going to start out on CasaOS now. I'm going to go to App Store, and we installed the store now. So you can go over here to the category, go to BigBearCasaOS, filter by it. And then you'll see Flame right here. You can also search for it. So I'm going to go into it. You can see that you can install it. So I'm going to install it. And what this is doing is it's download the Docker container off of Docker Hub or wherever the repository is. So then it's extracting it. It's starting it up with Docker Compose in the background and checking if it's good. And then it'll light up if it's good. And then that means it's successfully installed. So now I'm going to go over the options that you have on the container for CasaOS. So if you go up to these vertical dots right here, and then you can open the UI, you can look at tips. So you can set custom tips in here. It's like a notepad. And then you just save it. It'll reload the container, go back in tips, and you can see it's saved. So you can go to the settings, and you can change the volumes. So there you go. It filled in the dynamic variable right here. And then you can change your password. And once you do that, you save. So you can also see the terminal logs up here. So you can see it, the server is listening on 5005 in the container. So you can see a full terminal. See all the files that are in the container. So now you can go out of this, and then you can go to check for updates, and this will check for updates on the current tag. And then you can uninstall, you can restart, and you can power off and on. So now I'm going to show you where the volume is created. So if you go into the vertical dots and you go to settings, you can see a volume is created at this path right here on the host side, and then syncing with the app data on the container side. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to the Files app right here. This is a nice little app that CasaOS gives you. So I'm going to go into it. I'm going to be in data already. So I'm going to go to app data, and then flame, and then data. And then here you go. Here's all the data that's inside of flame. And you can look at it. You can see the SQLite right here. You can see the themes. And you can see the uploads and the DB back. And then if you go out and you do this little check mark, you have options: download, copy, cut, and delete, and cancel. So that's how to see the files from Flame in CasaOS. So now we'll go into the UI. So I'm going to go to open. You can also go and open here. So I'm going to go and open it. And you can see that you can add applications right here. So you can add one. So testing, and then testing at example.com, and then testing. And then I'm going to say add application. Oh shoot, gotta put the and then you can get the icons off MDI right here. Gonna add one, and you can see that it's added, so you can go into that. You can edit them, delete them. You can pin it, and then you can mark it as hidden or visible. So you can go over here and go on applications and get to them, of course. Then you can go into bookmarks. You can add your book or your category, your bookmarks, and then your edit categories. And then you can also go into the settings right here. You can go to general, interface, weather, Docker, and then custom CSS, and then app. So you can sign in with the password that you put inside of the Docker container settings. So if you go over to the apps, the CasaOS, and you go into settings, and then you can see it down here. So a password, I would recommend changing that. So I'm gonna go back over to Flame, and then once you do that, you just log into it. It's pretty simple. You can put a weather API key in. So that's about the UI for Flame. So I just went over everything to get you set up with Flame. Went over the settings, the where the volume's stored, everything like that. So if you like this tutorial, subscribe, comment, like, and support the channel. And if you have any video suggestions or need support, you can go to the Big Bear community and join our Discord. There's a link in the YouTube description. So stay tuned for more.